Pro Bowl linebacker LeVar Arrington with us. We're talking the latest now on Odell. The Browns officially put the star receiver on waivers yesterday, meaning teams have until 4 p.m. today to claim him if they want to pay him the $7 million plus he's owed. According to Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio, Odell wants to be a Seattle Seahawk. Okay, Odell, go pair up with Russ and DK out there in the Pacific Northwest. Who wouldn't want that? Pete Carroll, what do you think?
Pete, do you intend to claim Odell Beckham Jr. and add him to your team?
You'll have to wait and see how this all goes. But at this time, I don't know. I've been on the practice field. I don't know what's going on with it. As you would think, we're aware of what's going on, and we've been involved to understand it and compete and to know what's happening. And we'll let you know as it all happens. I gotta wait. So I didn't say yes or I didn't say no, but that's just because you'll see.
That's a great answer.
Well, it was reported that OBJ does want to play for a contender. Seattle's only 3-5, although they do get Russ back. Russ with the green light to return from his finger surgery, so he'll be back for Seahawks-Packers on Sunday. But LeVar, should Odell want to land with the 3-5 Seahawks?
I mean, he should want to land where he wants to land. I mean, as I see it, we're going to find out one way or the other, right? For good or for bad, for great or for worse. Is OBJ the issue, or is he in a bad situation? And that's the beauty of this, right? He wants to go to Seattle. If Seattle finds him, which it kind of sounds as though from the way Curl responded to the question that he really feels good about it. I mean, if I read it correctly, and you forgot to mention Tyler Lockett with DK Metcalf. That makes 3 formidable wide receivers in a receiving core. And if Russell Wilson, who I'm a little sketchy on if he can come back and throw the ball and handle the ball, torque out of it, throw the ball the way that he needs to after this surgery and this injury. I think that there is a lot riding. In fact, I think everything is riding on this next stop for OBJ. I don't think that OBJ gets the grace. I don't think that he gets the pass. I don't think that he gets the opportunity to blame anything or anyone else to blame OBJ's lack of production or being elite at the pro level anymore on something or somebody else. So I'm interested to see it, no matter where he ends up. But Seattle could definitely be a great landing place for him, Nick.
Yeah, this has to work out for Odell. The league is going to, because of the talent and because of how good he was at his best, they're going to give him a pass on Cleveland, the whole mess of it all. They will not give him a pass on if the next stop doesn't work out. If the next stop doesn't work out, then Odell's career, it's not over, but it is in a drastically different place. He is still a blue chipper, as evidenced by the fact that we are even discussing the possibility that a team is going to, because if they claim him, they're paying him $7 million for less than 10 football games. So the fact that that is even a possibility shows the stature that he still holds in this league in some circles. Now, I understand, Wilds, why Seattle might be the perfect fit for him in this regard. They have a great quarterback. He knows they want to throw the ball. At least Russ wants to throw the ball. And he gets all his money. So if he goes unclaimed, it's $3 million shaved off. I don't need to get into the machinations of it, but that's how it's going to work out. If he goes unclaimed, then Cleveland only owes him $4 million, and then you'll see what he gets from his next place. As opposed to if he gets claimed, he gets the full $7.25. But I don't think Seattle's a bad fit, but I don't think it's the perfect fit. I've made the case as to why I think Kansas City makes a ton of sense for him. They clearly need a number 2 receiver like they had in Sammy Watkins. But even if you remove Kansas City, because one could argue Kansas City, it's not like they're a lock for the postseason this year. There are other teams that you could argue make sense. I mean, I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I understand right now they're far from a lock. Green Bay has always made a ton of sense. I think Green Bay, you have a great quarterback. You're going to be in the playoffs. The problem with Green Bay is the great quarterback going to be there after this year? Baltimore's going to be in the playoffs. It's not really fun to be a receiver there, but you're going to be playing in big games and you would immediately become the #1 option there. I do think Cincinnati and the Chargers at least are worth consideration. Young, quality quarterbacks, good receiving cores that you would bolster. To me, those options plus Seattle and Kansas City are all, would be your top 6 if he's free and clear to pick whomever he wants. I would have Seattle among those 6 wilds close to last purely because I think they're the least likely of those 6 to make the playoffs. And I think Odell needs to play in a playoff game. Odell's played in 1 playoff game ever, and all we remember about it is the boat trip he took beforehand. So I think Seattle, because they're in that division, Russ has been injured, and their record stinks, I think Seattle's would be an odd choice if playoffs are an important factor here.
Yeah, so if you're going to leave Cleveland, you want to be on a winning team, going to the 3-5 Seahawks seems weird. Then they play the Packers and the Cardinals. So they could look up and be 3-7. Plus, are we sure Seattle is that much different than Cleveland? They run the ball the 8th highest percentage of their plays. And we look at the graphic on how many times they line up 3 wide receivers. I'm not sure there's enough passes to go around. We know Russ wants to cook, but we know Pete Carroll does not necessarily want to let him cook. So look, as much as I think it would be scary for him to be on Kansas City, I do think a safer bet with a team with a great quarterback and is at least 500 or above is the move. So I still think Packers is the best move. Aaron Rodgers is there, could always use another weapon. I think it'd be a nice olive branch from Gutekunst to Rodgers and also change the narrative up there. So Packers would be my #1 pick. Obviously, Patriots actually my #1 pick. But if it's not Foxborough, I'd go Packers, Jenna.
Listen, I like what you guys are saying. I have no issue with what you guys are throwing out there. But one team that you failed to mention was the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this seems to be a team in turmoil. So many things have happened, from the head coach to your star receiver to now the whole draft class of Ruggs' his draft class and everything that's happened. But this is still a team that is in the thick of it and in the mix in terms of being able to win that AFC West, which is a very, very competitive division right now. In fact, there is a ton of parity. They all have 5 wins. This is going to be must-see TV. You add a guy like OBJ to the Raiders, where Derek Carr is playing some really good football right now. They're playing some good football right now. At times, a tad bit inconsistent, but yet nonetheless, so are the other teams in the AFC West. Don't rule out the Raiders in this scenario.
I think the Raiders were the favorites before they signed Deshaun Jackson. If I were counseling Odell, though, I would tell him, man, you've played with the good-ish quarterbacks. Eli Manning at the end, Baker Mayfield. To me, Derek Carr's in that same category. I would want, if I were Odell, to go to a great quarterback. Russ is great. Rodgers is great. Mahomes, even though Wilds thinks he's washed, is great. Herbert and Burrow could be great. I think that if I were,
if I
were Odell, Jenna, well, Deshaun
can work
Watson,
with
sure, but we don't know where he's going to be.
Deshaun may get injured.
Oh, Deshaun Jackson.
May get injured.
Oh, you're saying if Deshaun Jackson you're saying the Raiders sign them both. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, sign them both.
All right, we got to move on. By the way, Seahawks Packers on Sunday.